great to be back here in Hololive GT3, and it's great to be here in Victoria, Australia. We are here in Phillip Island for round 6 of the Hololive GT3 International Series. It's a wonderful day. It's a sunny day here in Phillip Island. It's basically an island near the Victorian province in Australia. Speaking of Phillip Island, let's take a look into the track map. We're looking at a track of about 4.445 kilometers in length, which is basically 2.762 miles for all of you Imperials out there. 12 corners in total. We're going for basically a lap count of 47 laps worth 200 kilometers, which is basically the standard currently in the Hololive GT3 International Series. We're looking at a target lap time of 131.953 with these Hololive GT3 cars. And of course, if we want to talk about the location, the specific location, it's at Ventnor, Phillip Island, Victoria, Australia. And it's also, since we're in Australia, by the way, we can consider this as Baelz' home race. Well, basically, technically it's her home race. Basically, her personality and culture is heavily influenced by Australia, so we can consider Australia as Baelz' home race, as well as Emerson Kurt representing Irony 15 for this race here in Phillip Island. And unfortunately, due to issues with the Sandown track, we were initially going to be racing in Sandown, but due to the issues that we've had with this track, we had to replace it with Phillip Island, another very good track used in GT3 racing. And speaking of the entry list, we are seeing only one change in basically the roster so far. Pay attention to the number 01. Well, looking at the 01 Pavonia Radio Honda, I have the graphics have not been updated, but if you follow the Adak-RMS Twitter, we have heard the news that Raymond Pavo have returned into the 01 Pavonia Radio Honda to contest the full season again. He was MIA from the 2 races from Spa to Interlagos. It's nice to see him back onto the racetrack in Hololive GT3 International. We look to see him perform. And speaking of performance, let's take a look into the championship standings. As you can see here, after Interlagos, Santiago Olivares, that second place finish, nearly beating out Jeremy Aston for the win, is now leading the standings in the Amelia Honda, and only a week after Amelia's birthday. So Santiago Olivares has a lot of form heading into this race, alongside Brendan McConley. Ame 1-2 in the championship standings. Well, one might have to note, as you can see here, Brendan McConley in the number 99 Gauguin Nissan, 550 points, only 36 points behind the championship leader. Cashew, another Hololive representative in the top 3 in the standings, 484 points, only around 102 behind Santiago Olivares. Cashew represents Marty Calliope. Viaria da Silva in the Oro Crony Lexus, 480 points, a bit far back. Also the first Hololive Indonesia driver currently in the list right now, Maurice Trombley, 5th in the standings, 420 points in the number 69 Honda. Nice. And Jeremy Aston, previous race winner in the Nissan, also seeing in returning into streaming. Welcome back to her as well, 397 points. Lance Oris, Anya Melvisa, 324 points in the number 12 car. Marion Morris, Takanashi Kiara, Lexus, 290 points. And then we have Aaron Mazzi in the Iris Nissan. She had just revealed her New Year's outfit. Very pleasant and promising indeed. He sits 9th in the standings in the Iris Nissan. Bertha Lado with another good performance. I think he finished 3rd last round. We're also sporting a new logo that we have shared in the Twitter in the Nanashimome Honda. Sits 10th in the standings. Then we have Kate Garcia, Aziz Muazzif, Hanaori Miyuki, the 11th, 12th, and 13th in the standings, representing Zeta, Risu, and Kobo, respectively. Emerson Kurt in his home race sits 14th in the standings, representing Irene 15. Jason Fisher, Crazy Ollie Nissan representative, runs basically 15th in the championship standings. Monica Shalagi 16th in the Kyla Kowalski Lexus. Watch out for Shalagi as well. She might be on the surprise there. Donna representing Hakos Baelz in her home race. Donna has a lot to prove after basically a lackluster first 5 races of the season. Hera Pav haven't had much of a best debut for her in Interlagos in that Sarah's Fonda Lexus, replacing Brooklers after round 4. Let's see what she can do in the number 85. And returning Raymond Pavo in the Pavonia Radio Honda in the 01. Let's see what he can do from last on the grid. And as that out of the way, as we're about to transition over into qualifying. Hi, welcome back everyone. Welcome back everyone into the Hololive GT3 stream. It's nice to see everyone here, and it's time to introduce the commentary booth right now. I'm Mama Shazin Reza as your lead commentator, and we should have Callum Gibbons. Well, that's the ideal case scenario, but unfortunately he's not here. So the song commentary stream for Gibbons is not going to arrive after all. So that's a bit unfortunate. But alongside me is the returning Zeke Wimberly, who is confirmed to run the Hololive GT3 Japan Series in that number 54 Hakui Kori Honda. So Z, as we're starting this qualifying session, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'd argue we have some obvious favorites going into here, that being Dondarop and current championship leader Santi Olivares. So I think there's a lot of people rooting for them at this current moment, and as usual, obviously I'm going for an underdog win right at this moment. So Dondarop is probably my personal favorite to win this race tonight.
Yeah, so right now we're looking at some of the few drivers here at the moment. Monica Shalage in the number 58, Kyla Kowalski Lexus, obviously sitting well below the top 10 in the standings. And actually, if we were to note the characteristics of the track here in Phillip Island, as you can see here from the track map, a lot of squigglies, a lot of medium and high-speed corners in that track means basically cornering speed and aerodynamics are going to be preferred. And you know what car has that the most? And that is the Lexus. And you can see here Monica Shalage obviously running the Kyla Kowalski Lexus. Let's see what she can do with this basically track here at the moment.
Well, as you just said, the Lexus has a small little advantage going out on this track. However, there is a little bit of a long straight going on there, so the Nissan doesn't have to give up all hope at the moment, as an overtake is definitely possible on that little straight, the entryway, I believe. But yeah, we haven't had a Lexus win just overall in a while, so this might be the track to break the losing streak.
Oh yeah, speaking of the Lexus, let's start a Hololive here with Hera Path there. Sorry for we'll wait for Don Ron later. For now, we're going to be showcasing you Hololive here in Phillip Island, heading into turn 1. 6 gear here is a high-speed corner, so you may want to brake before the 50-meter board, heading into turn 1, and heading to the left-hand turn to get the arc going. Then at just before the 50-meter board, into turn 2. And heading into turn 3, he'll hold on to second gear at the moment, hold on to the speed. And then heading into turn 3, you can see here's another left-hander, another very fast left-hander before the hairpin at turn 4. We'll get into the name specifically after this. If we give West turn 4 middle corner, get a good exit there. And that seems to be a very decent exit there from middle corner, heading into the king at turn 5 and into Siberia turn 6. That's a left-hander there. A kink at turn 7 coming up, and then another kink at turn 8. Well, not exactly a kink, in that right, it is a right-hander into Lukey Heights. 50-meter board, take it easy, brake there into turn 9. Another high-speed corner, and then braking into the slow corner at turn 10. You may want to take into the grass there. Yes, there may be some Latin to be found. Here's turn 11. Left-hander, and into the final corner, turn 12. This is where the Nissan will struggle so much. This is where the Lexus will have an advantage at. But here's the main straight Z have mentioned. So the Nissan will not going to lose hope just yet. And with Harapau, let's see what her lap time says. Second so far, 132.927. Doesn't really beat the target lap time just yet.
But as you just saw there's some absolutely brutal corners going on this track, which is where the Nissan just kind of loses all hope, and all you can hope right now is for the straight to rally come, as you can tell, very long. So Nissan overtakes over here are definitely possible, but Harapap with a 132.927, which is overall very good, second best lap time, about 0.4 seconds off top lap at the moment. Definitely can surpassed that, especially early on in the qualifying session.
Yeah, we may want to see who wants to beat the Silva so far, and a bit of an extra news here so far. We are going to showcase a return to one of our earlier graphics from earlier in the Japan Series season, earlier last year. And here is the graphics, basically with the manufacturer colors and all that stuff. Much less dependent on Assetto Corsa Competizione, but more dependent on simplicity and legibility. So right now, we have returned the ACTV graphics package. Thank you, Prune, for providing this graphics package. And we have added even more of our personal flair with our signature racer font for Hololive GT3. And speaking of which, Marion Morris, though, already beats the target lap time by a landslide, 5/10 ahead of Vieira da Silva, who was the championship leader. Marion Morris is currently in the top 10. This could shake the equation.
Especially after some pretty lackluster races for the past couple, this could definitely be the comeback of, I believe, former championship leader Marion Morris. At the moment, this could probably shake up his position a bit if he could just outperform, everyone. I swear he might have that edge to just kind of propel himself into, like, maybe the podium.
Correct. So, obviously, just want to give you a bit of a context. In Interlagos, Marion Morris was basically running a Lexus, which definitely struggled in struggled during the race in Interlagos. The Lexus cars were not the fastest car manufacturer between the Nissan and Honda. The Lexus were absolutely nowhere, unfortunately. And then we have Spa round 4, where he basically didn't even make turn 1. So for Marion Morris, it's basically a do or die session for him, as he currently sets the fastest so far. As you can see here, the Lexus cars occupy the front 3 spots, while Casio also qualifying third in the championship standings. So Casio, this is going to look promising for him.
Just an overall podium high placing podium right now on here. Both all three are Lexus. This is probably definitely a comeback at the moment, but this might be finally the race that breaks the chain of all the Lexus losses and to finally get Lexus.
Well, from the disappointment that is in Interlagos, Lexus win here would be refreshing to see, especially given that Lexus were absolutely nowhere in, let's say, the round at Interlagos. Like we mentioned, the Lexus guys were definitely nowhere. And speaking of hometown heroics, Don the Rob, here is the onboard of the number 86 Tacos Baelz Nissan, trying to make it around the track. Not the fastest so far, definitely losing a lot of pace so far, 5/10 off. I say for the Rob, he needs to pit for fresh tires, fresh sticker tires, and go for another run. Because right now, 13th is not going to cut it for the Rob, but I'm gonna be praying for heroics that the Rob might actually pull something off. But for now, Rob says 13th in the qualifying standings.
If I were to Rob, I think this would be a lot more of an endurance race kind of going on right now, especially if we have 13th in qualifying. That would just be ideal in general, because you're just not playing endurance, you're just trying to blitz through. That's going to cause even more position downshifting, which could be awful for your run.
And speaking of the best Nissan currently available, Emerson Kerr currently 4th in the standings, the best Nissan so far. Hometown boy is doing wonders for basically his home nation. Basically, he is registered as an Australian, so we can treat this race as Emerson Kerr's home race. So Emerson Kerr haven't had the best of runs between round 2 and him taking the Yofi car, basically trading rides with Lance Oryx. And as you can see here, only 14 cars basically make it into the timings. It's gonna be interesting to see where the other 5 cars are at the moment.
Where did they go? I actually noticed this slightly before.
It could be that, or they may have teleported themselves out from the track. That is basically, it's all basically guesswork at this point. But Mercedes, one thing is for sure, he's currently sitting 14th in the timing boards with a revised logo on the hood, with the official announcement of Nanashi Mume's official logo, official. Mercedes with the new paint is currently sitting 14th in the standing so far, 3 tenths behind Marion Morris, so not looking good for him so far. And speaking of reversal of fortunes, this is what we're trying to talk about. He did finish third last round in Interlagos, but right now in Phillip Island, Mercedes is down in 14th.
Ledo always either a hit or a miss. It's feast or famine with Ledo, so it's either incredibly high or incredibly low rankings for Ledo. So this might not be one of his best races, but maybe he'll be able to turn it around. We've seen comeback stories in HoloGT3, and this might be one of them, especially if a new can of paint might want to bring pride to that.
Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into Mercedes later, but for now, let's also take a look at Aaron Mazzi, Santi Olivares, and Jeremy Assam alongside what looks like Lance Ward, but he has already set a time. If I'm not mistaken, no, he has not set a time so far. Jason Fisher have also not set a time, if I'm not mistaken. No, he has also not set a time. So we have 5 cars so far who have yet to set a time. They're still stuck in the pits. They're, I believe, having issues with the car, so they are not setting proper lap time so far. So obviously, with these 5 cars basically still in the pit and basically out of contention and all that stuff. Speaking of which, we're going to be trying to adjust the camera so far to see if we get back into them in the pits. So here are the cars, as we mentioned earlier. They are still stuck in the pits. They have issues with the cars. So it's a bit devastating for some of the guys who are trying to get out on track. But it's especially devastating for the top 2 in the championship. The championship leader right now, Santi Olivares, who will be looking to start at the back.
This is incredibly odd, to say the least. Like, we've had malfunctions of maybe 1-2 cars at a time. I think this is one of the largest ones, possibly in HoloGT3 history, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm still a newbie, so
yeah. As you can see here, as you can see here, we have they're looking at these cars. The cars are still basically stationary. We did mention Brendan McCauley have moved out. He has already set a time. He's currently 10th in the championship in the qualifying standings. But for now, as it stands, Aaron Mazzi, Jeremy Assam, Santi Olivares, alongside them, Lance Oryx and Jason Fisher will probably not be taking any further part in qualifying due to issues with the cars. So it's a bit of a bizarre incident to see them like this. Or the case is, if they have hidden pace, watch out for them, because they might have something hidden inside them.
My apologies for my little outburst out there. I got a little bit excited, but McConley finally made it out of the pits. I don't know how long he's been there, and I'm assuming the other 4 have just kind of been permanently out there, but McConley has about 1:30 to set the best time he can possible. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not very hopeful for that at the moment. It's 1:07 right now. I don't think it's gonna be a good run for McConley.
For McConley, it's not going to be looking good, as you mentioned there. Basically, everyone is not improving so far, but we have seen only some of the improvements right now. Hanori Miyuki in the Kobokanena Lexus, she is doing kind of wonders here so far, putting this car inside the top 10. And Kay Garcia, only 1.2 seconds off, so Kay Garcia having some pace there with that Vestia Zeta Nissan. Hera Path, after a disappointing run on her debut, is looking to basically redeem herself with a possible 6th place position in the race start.
I'm sorry, I didn't think about my debut, but it's couple spots have been moving up, a couple moved down. I don't think there's going to be any more improvement looking at the times at the moment, so I believe Morris is going to be starting pole. It's going to be, I think Carolina De Silva definitely has a chance to maybe reclaim their race lead, if I'm not mistaken.
And actually, we do want to mention that Silva is already inside the pit. She has no time to start another lap, but she has put up a good amount of effort inside her. As you can see, basically two. She's currently second in her basically second at the moment. So actually, we wanted to look into a bit of replay before we end this qualifying, just to look back into what happened to, let's say, guys like Santi Olivares. Let's see if he is actually out just yet. So we're gonna need to go back into this one. So just need to check. This is Santi Olivares, and as you can see here, he did not actually run. He did not actually run. As we did mention to you guys that he have had issues with the car. A lot of the five cars having issues. It's a bit of a strange occurrence to happen. But with that out of the way, let's resume qualifying here at the moment. See where the drivers end up. Cashew is still in his outlet. Let's see if he improves in the second sector.
I don't think Cashew's gonna improve lap time. So I think everything's set. And so, oh, what happened there? Garcia just jumped up to 4th place from 8th, I believe.
Yeah, from
interesting
8th to
development.
4th. Yeah, true.
Alright, that's an interesting development from right there. Gonna be starting on 2nd row, which is pleasant.
4 cars left on track. We do want to mention who is left out on track. Mama Cashew is about to finish his lap. Hanori Miyuki peels in into the pits. Mama Cashew, will he improve? No, 6/10 behind. And looking at the last drivers out, Mary Morse peels in into the pits. And I believe that is everyone. And with that out of the way, we're having the news that Mary Morris will start on pole. And we have confirmation. That's the qualifying session over. And let's take a look into the qualifying standings. But first, Z, your thoughts?
Garcia jumping up from 8th to 4th is a very promising prospect. I believe that makes her strongest, quote-unquote strongest Nissan on the board at the moment.
Correct, as we're seeing so far. And meanwhile, with the qualifying session out of the way, let's take a look into the starting lineup there. Marion Morris, his second pole of the 2022-2023 Hololive GT3 International Series season, putting up a best lap time of 1:31.804 in that Takanashi Kiara Lexus. Let's see if he can get win number 2. The last time he did this was the Road America. Let's see what he can do here in Australia. Carolina Vieira da Silva, after a disappointing run in the previous round at Interlagos, is looking to bounce back. Starting on the front row, let's see if she can reclaim her spot in the championship lead. Mama Cashew in the number 4 More Calliope Lexus, consistent as ever up front. Let's see what he can do from 3rd. Kate Garcia surprised everyone from 8th to 4th in that Vespa Zeta Nissan. Let's see what she can do with the fastest Nissan on board. And Emerson Kern in his home race, the RNEO 15 Nissan, will start 5th. Raymond Pavo in his return qualifies a solid 6th. I think that's his best ever qualifying position yet in Hololive GT3 in the 4 races that he's entered. Hera Fab also in her best qualifying position so far in the Saras Fauna Lexus, will start 7th. Aziz Mwaze will start 8th in the Hyundai Risu Honda. Maurice Trombley 9th. Hoshinobu Muna Honda will start 9th. Hanari Miyuki 10th in the Kobo Kanairu Nissan. Doing very well there. A lot of Hololive Indonesia members up front in the top 10. Brandon McConley, 2nd in the championship standing, will start 11th in the Gagura Nissan. Kyle Kowalski Lexus. Monica Shalage will start 12th. Don DeRob for the hometown Rat. Hakos Baelz in the Nissan will start 13th. Versa Lado, the last guy to set a time in the newly with the new logo on the hood, and Ashimumi Honda in 14th. And here are the first guys who have not set a time. Jason Fisher in the Koichi Aldi Nissan, Lance Ors in the Anya Melvisa Lexus will start 16th. Jeremy Asset, previous race winner in Interlagos, will start 17th in the Dinamaya Nanis Nissan number 17. Santi Olivares in the Amogus-sponsored Amelia Honda will start 18th, championship leader, having some issues there. And Aaron Mazzi, last of the HoloGT3 cars, will start last on the grid due to unfortunate predicaments out there. But with that 19 cars lining up on the grid, I want to hear your thoughts, Z, one more of basically the starting lineup as we're about to start this race.
This is interesting for Santi Olivares because that 1st place is just a guaranteed overthrown because of that accident with his car not starting up correctly, I believe, is what happened. So that's complete. Santi Olivares, I think, wiped out of first place. So the people I believe that are gonna take that is between Mohamed Kashu and Carolina da Silva.
So we
Those
have,
are the two.
yeah, basically your two picks for this race. Noted, Z. Sorry about that. And we're about to get this race underway. And here we have 8 cars lining up. 19 cars lining up on the grid here into Lagos. Here we see Marion Mars starting on the front row alongside Carolina da Silva. The race gets underway. 45 laps here in Phillip Island. Marion Mars having a worse start there. Carolina da Silva instantly jumps everyone, and Carolina da Silva assumes the race lead, but will it be enough for her? The answer might be yes. As you can see here, a lot of shuffling in and out. As you can see, Garcia holds on to 4th place, Pablo up to 5th, and but Kurt is going to try to challenge them for 5th place. Harapaf and Alice Mazep challenging for what looks to be 7th place right now. More shuffles down the field here. McCauley down to 12. As you can see here, 5 cars who have not set a time can make the start here anyways. As you can see here, Mary Morris leads this race. Vera da Silva 2nd, Cashew 3rd. As you can see here, Kate Garcia diving down the inside of Mama Cashew. Garcia's now up to 3rd, Cashew 4th, Pablo 5th, looks to go down the inside of Mama Cashew. And you can see a lot of shuffling down the field here. Lots of positions down, up, and over. And Santi Olivares having a very poor start here. Now down to last, but back to 6th. Emerson Kurt 6th. Harapap 7th. Wazit 8th. Yuki and Shilage, fellow Holo Hero members, side by side. 4th position, challenging themselves for 9th.
As we can see here, there's a bit to unpack right now. Just a lot of side by side right now. I think took Yuki, Orox took McConnell, I took Fisher, took the route. There's just a lot going on that I can kind of not really keep track, but I think all these actions going towards the back at the moment is expected within the first 5 lapish.
And you can see here, Boris Trombley tried to go down the inside of Shalage onto the final corner, turn 12. But Trombley now has the inside line heading into turn 1. More side-by-side action between Raymond Pablo and Baba Cashew. Cashew is ducking down the outside, but it will be the inside line heading into turn 2. Pablo on the outside. Oh, you see, there's a car going off there. There's a car going off. That's all 2 or 3 cars going off track, and there could be a collision there between a lot of these cars. Shalage manages to get herself unscathed, as well as Kate Garcia. A lot of cars going off track there on lap 2. As again, a lot of cars really pushing the boundaries of this track, nearly losing control.
Well, I wouldn't argue they came out unscathed. Sure, their car is unscathed, but their position sure isn't. They just dropped a lot down there because of the one just fatal mistake that could potentially just destroy someone's road. Well, I guess they're still in the point, so I guess it isn't all bad, but still, it's kind of hard to overlook the negatives right now.
And as we mentioned right now, we're going to be taking a look here. Mary Morris have taken the lead back from Vera da Silva. I think Vera da Silva has made a mistake somewhere, because Vera da Silva was leading at the start of this race. Meanwhile, Mazzy and Asem challenging side by side. 2 very powerful distance for the last round at Interlagos, now challenging for 17. Let's see who will be winning in this golden, basically silver spoon battle. Meanwhile, as we're about to start lap 3 here, we could be seeing more side-by-side action here. Raymond Pablo might be able to challenge Emerson Kerr, but Harapap is also going to be joining in into the mix.
I believe we have about a somewhat near 3-way. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think all the battles have settled down for a minute. It's about a Cold War right now, but I think that's going to warm up here in a little bit. Looking at...
Oh, you can see here, Raymond Pablo got off track. He spun out.
I jinxed it.
The commentator's curse is very much alive in this group, and we apologize for Raymond Pablo, who has spun out of this race on lap 3. We have now had a yellow flag in basically on the southern loop, turn 2, and Raymond Pablo has officially retired from this race. Unlucky for Raymond Pablo after qualifying inside the top 10.
From 6th to 19th in 3 laps.
Meanwhile, we could be seeing some more dramas here at the moment. Well, Phillip Island have had some extremely surprising stuff that we had so far. And speaking of surprises, Mary Morris definitely dominating the field right now. Almost 6 seconds over Vieira da Silva in second. Marion Morris is having a clinical run of his own so far.
Marion Morris, I think, is just guaranteed first place right now. He's really far ahead, so unless he makes a big slip up, he's basically gonna just breeze through this. 6 seconds away from Da Silva. It's guaranteed, I believe.
And here's what we mentioned there. Turn 12 is absolutely brutal for Nissan, and it's absolutely beneficial for the Lexus. As you can see here, the Lexus is now able to fight the Nissan side by side after a long corner. You did mention that the straight was the one chance the Nissans could have a chance to fight, but meanwhile a lot of the drivers are trying to navigate this off-camber turn 2. That is where a lot of issues come. That is where even Pablo lost his car and spun out and beat his car into the gravel trap, essentially forcing him to retire. And we're now in lap 4 of this race. We still have this yellow flag thing that we've had so far. A bit of a interesting development as well, despite the cars already being clear. So the yellow flag might just be a mistake. Meanwhile, there is a battle between Marmakashi and Emerson Kerr. Emerson Kerr holding on to 3rd place. The hometown hero is going to perform wonders in the U15 Nissan, but Marmakashi might be trying to put a stop to that.
Semi-notable driver overall. Kerr scores, I think, barely inside the points, and not really just a dirty driver in general. Finally getting its blitz of glory right now, currently in 3rd place, and might get 2nd place soon enough, looking at that .169 gap, and I was right.
Yep, Emerson Kerr really showing off his fangs here. He has unleashed himself into clean air at the moment, and now his motive is to catch Marion Morris in the race lead so far. As you can see here, he has set his personal best 1:33.681, where Marion Morris have only set a 1:32. Vieira da Silva is definitely struggling in this race and might be in the defense against Vieira da Silva and Cashew. Against Harapap and Cashew. Cashew have now been shuffled off into the outside. This will allow Harapap to attack Cashew. Now, you can see here, more battles here right now. Another car's off track. You're seeing another car off track. You see dust. We're seeing a lot of gravel trap being kicked up here right now. And I think it's Jason Fisher who have also gone off track, gone off wide into the treacherous turn 2.
A lot of going off track. It seems this track is too narrow or something for all these cars or whatever. I think that's like the 3rd time, quote unquote, that cars have gone off track, and it's only lap 5, so there is probably a lot more action to come in these coming laps.
A lot of action in these coming laps. We will guarantee this. We've already passed 1/9 of the race distance. Harapaf looking to find a move into Marmakashi. Marmakashi trying to find a way to get past Vieira da Silva, but also we want to return a graphic that we have lost so far. It is the race fuel monitor. This is where we will monitor their race fuel consumption and how much fuel is in their tanks. And as we're seeing so far, looking at Marion Morris have 39 liters of fuel at the moment, so he might be go for a 1-stop. But as for the other, but for Maurice Trombley, he might want to go long. And looking at Harapat trying to think of a move around the inside. Just wanting to double check here. Jason Fisher is going to try to go long. Emerson Coe also try to go long. And for those who want to go a bit aggressive, Aziz Mwaze might just be one of them, as he's currently the lowest fuel out of anyone so far.
This race definitely checks your car's endurance for the most part. So 1-stop or 2-stop.
Jason Fisher again.
Oh, and yet again going off track, going from 16th to 18th. I think barely holding on. Just barely.
Yeah, correct.
Just continue.
Okay, meanwhile, we're seeing a battle here between Lado and Mazzy. Mazzy now up to 14th place. Very amazing racing there between the drivers. Clean as well. I haven't seen some side-by-side contest, so that's very respectable for everyone so far. Looking at Cashew right now. Cashew is also trying to catch Da Silva. Emerson Kerr is still 8 seconds behind Marion Morris. He is doing his best to catch up into the Lexus, but not by much. As you can see, more battles here right now between Oris and McCauley. McCauley trying to defend 10th place on that inside line. but the Lexus has the outside line and has the grip advantage right now. Let's see what Lance Orris can do to try to swoop in around the outside. Definitely makes the Nissan go unsteady so far. And from the gap that we're seeing here, Mary Morris and Emerson Kurt, the gap is still constant at 8.1 seconds. So right now, Mary Morris's race lead remains unchallenged.
Kurt makes a little bit of progress, and then Morris makes a little bit of progress, and it's kind of just this constant stalemate. But I think Kurt will eventually blitz through this constant 8.1 eventually and just slightly get closer, but I don't think it's gonna be enough for the longevity of the entire race.
Yeah, just look at how many drivers that went off wide there. There's a lot of tire markings there. You can see it. This turn 2 is absolutely treacherous. You have to take this corner slower than usual due to the nature of the corner being what you call off camber. It's basically it's negative banking. You know, in super speedway you have this banking that leads on the racetrack. This banking leans off from the racetrack, so you have to take this corner at slower speed because the car is actually giving up from you. So obviously you have to take it easy in those corners before you basically put yourself too much, because if you push yourself too much, you're going to go off wide. You misjudge it by going too fast, you're going to go into the gravel, and as Raymond Pavel have proven, that basically knocks him out of the race.
And then of course you got the driver behind you that's trying to dive bomb you for some reason on the other side, so that just makes it kind of extra stressful for our drivers here, and we've already got one crash, so it's
Meanwhile, we're about to see another battle for 10th place here. Lance Orix and Brendan McCauley. Brendan McCauley currently second in the championship standings. Lance Orix on the outside, Brendan McCauley down the inside. Let's see if there are any shenanigans. There's another car off track. There's another car off track here. As you can see, more dust being kicked off from the gravel trap there. So we might be seeing another car off. And here's Hera Path. And here's Aziz Mwaze trying to defend from Vieira de Silva. And yes, we have confirmation that Vieira de Silva have gone wide from turn 2, which basically loses her a net 4 positions. So turn 2 is Calamity Corner, as we would like to call it.
Oh boy, well, maybe it'll become more of just a really hard corner instead of absolute calamity corner, as the gaps hopefully spread out and the room for error is a little bit more lenient, and I doubt that'll happen, but maybe it'll happen. Flip a coin.
And currently, while my catcher holding on to 3rd place, catching up into Emerson Kerr. Emerson Kerr have definitely closed down the gap to Marion Morris. The gap previously was 8.1 seconds, and now the gap is 7.6 seconds. And also, speaking of which, now is a good time to share with you guys about the progress chart so far. Lance Orris started 16th and is now up to 10th place, the biggest gainer so far. And the biggest loser, as far as those who are still in the race go, Kate Garcia from basically 4th to 9th. And meanwhile, Shalagi and McCauley trying to go side by side, but Brandon McCauley having a better exit from turn 12, manages to defend himself from the Lexus.
Yeah, that spin out that Kate Garcia had was absolutely it wrecked her.
We have another car. There are 2 cars off, and that is actually Lance Orris as well, who have also gone wide there. Calamity Corner hits them once again, and Brendan McCauley is now back up to 10th.
I swear to God, I keep jinxing it every time.
Remember the commentator's courtesy. Remember that. Meanwhile, as we're about to see, there's another change in dynamics so far in the top 4 positions. Mama Kachu and Harapap now make up 3rd and 4th so far. Aziz Mwaze is still the best Honda currently in the field, but may have to pit sooner or later. Looking at the field right now, he only has 12 liters of fuel remaining.
So that would be committing to a 2-stop, I believe.
And this could be a strategy to go, as you can see here. It's summer in Australia, and it's quite warm, so the tire warm-up will be quite faster than some people would attest to. So the 2-stop strategy might just be able to work out. And also we wanted to talk about Phillip Island being a high tire deck track. So basically your tires will wear out faster than usual. So a 2-stop strategy might just be very beneficial. As you can see here, Mama Casio trying to challenge Emerson Kerr, but he's still too far back. Kerr holds on to 2nd.
I just realize Kurt managed to, oh wait, hold on, I lied. I was about to say he breached 8.1 and made it to like 7.8, and then that.
Here we go again, and nearly backs into Aziz Mwazif. Cashew makes another mistake, heading into turn 2, Calamity Corner strike. Mama Cashew now, and Hanari Miyuki has already overtaken Baelz de Silva. More positions gained, more positions lost. Yuki's now up to 6, trying to challenge Aziz Mwazif for 5th. Cashew in car number 4 holds out the 4th. Hanari Miyuki on the offense too, as K Garcia also takes a move into Trombley. Miyuki's probably back up to 5th, but now Mwazif challenges Miyuki back. Side by side, Nissan versus Honda, heading into the 2nd sector. Who is going to come out on top?
Seems Miyuki has a slight edge going onto the corner. It's just concentrating on the inside line basically, and just constant batterment. But I think Miyuki actually did manage to hit. Nope, I lied. Wait, hold on, did I? Hold on, I'm losing track.
Meanwhile, we can see here Mozif really puts up a good challenge to defend 5th place from Hanari Miyuki, but since Mozif is going to pit anyways, it's probably not that worthwhile to defend from Yuki, as he's working on getting the fastest lap time possible. But meanwhile, we're going to be taking a look into Calamity Corner once again, turn 2. What we call the might want to call this thing the Southern Loop, but we just want to call it Calamity Corner due to how much calamity this corner has caused. As you can see here, every other drivers are doing okay. Cashew's okay, Mwazif's okay. Everyone is doing fine so far in this corner, as we now switch into free camera. No shenanigans so far, so everyone keeps their position so far.
Yippee, and currently it looks like everything is fine, and there are no real people to be afraid of, and everything is at peace for now anyway.
And Santi Olivares and Jason Fisher going side by side, exiting turn 2. These guys are currently fighting for the silver spoon. As for Santi Olivares, it's not looking very good for him, as he had been challenging for the race championship lead. He was the championship leader and is now very much down the order, as does Marcelo Do. I've had a very good run in Interlagos. Remember, reversible fortunes is very much prevalent in Hololive GT3.
Yeah, Olivares has not been having a fun night, day, whatever time it is for you. What I'd say tonight. I'm gonna say tonight, but it's gonna eliminate any hope for Santi Olivares for just retaining 1st place, unless for some reason everything gets like nuked.
Then it could happen because a car might go off track, it might inadvertently slam into another car, T-bone the car off track. That might be possible. As you can see here, Aziz Mwazif, 6 liters of fuel to go. He might have to pit soon, so we might be seeing the first pit stop activity for Aziz Mwazif sooner or later. As you can see here, the fuel is definitely running thin for the Hyundai Risu Honda.
Well, to stop, I agree with what you said earlier on how this is the best strategy, because as you said, tire wear is definitely considerable on this track, but more importantly, however, if you can manage to just retain your grip on Calamity Corner, you should be fine.
And right now, we're looking at Harapef trying to stay consistent, hot on the heels of Emerson Kerr. Emerson Kerr have definitely lost out some of its pace to Marion Moore, still holding on to the race list. More battles here between Fisher and Ledo. Fisher basically overtaking Ledo for 16th place. They're not fighting for points, they're outside the points rather. So they're basically just fighting for whatever prize that's left. And meanwhile, we'll be taking a look into the timing board right now. Harapaf looking very decent there for herself. It is only her 2nd race in Hololive GT3 International, and Harapaf really chasing Emerson Kerr. She has definitely had a good run from that final corner. Will she make the dive bomb into turn 1? The answer is yes. Lexus versus Nissan into turn 1, but into Calamity Corner is the Nissan who has the inside line. So who's going to blink first?
It's going to be really tough, especially because of the corners, but if the Nissan has inside line, it has somewhat of a chance. But I think Kurt definitely won this battle, sadly, but I think Harapap will be back to spec again when the time is right.
And right now, Mama Cashew holding on to 4th place in the Mori Calliope Lexus here so far. I'm not seeing any more excursions from Calamity Corner from what we can see so far. As is Mozzie definitely running low on fuel. I believe it's his call to pit. Yes, his color is red in the race fuel monitor. As is Mozzie has been instructed by his pit crew to pit for fresh tires and fuel.
TM. But this will be the first pit of the race, which means, I believe, they're committing to a 2-stop strategy, which, again, probably the better strategy to choose out of the 2, if you ask me, but we'll see how a 1-stop would work. I'd actually love to see how a 1-stop would turn out.
As you see here, Lance Orris trying to go around the inside of Brendan McCollum, but he's still too far back. Here's turn 11 and turn 12. The Nissans struggle this corner. Nissans hate this corner, but the Lexus car absolutely enjoy this corner. And yes, we have confirmation. As is Moziv peeling into the pit, he's the first to commit to a pit stop.
Yeah, like I'm repeating myself. 2-stop strategy. He's committing to 2-stop strategy. That's enough said.
And you can see here, trying to go around the outside there, Lance Oryx. Will there be more drivers going off wide? The answer is yes! Lance Oryx goes too hard into Calamity Corner, and there's contact between Shalage and Oryx. We did mention that there will be contact for those who exit unsafely from Calamity Corner. The answer is yes. As you see here, Oryx now has rear end damage, and Shalage has front end damage. And you can see here, the Rob is now catching up into the field. Adak-RMS now up to 13th place with Aziz Moziv pitting. So again, Calamity Corner hits once again.
Shalaga, I mispronounced that. Shalaga just casually pushed Orox to the side, but it seems Orox isn't giving up without a fight right now, and kind of just outspeeds them on the corners, so it's good. Yeah, now Orox is long on. Any, like, hope of, like, another dive bomb is kind of non-existent. Oh, Silver Spoon battle, is it?
It's a Silver Spoon battle, but it's currently irrelevant because Olivares have yet to pit. Moziv have already pitted. For Moziv, it will be paramount for him to clear Olivares so that you'll have some fresh, clean air to steal lap time from all the other drivers. But right now, Olivares is not going to do himself much favors. We do mention the Honda Civil War happening time and time again. Here's another Honda Civil War, this time with Sandy Olivares, and as is Moziv heading into the hairpin corner that comes after this turn 10. Let's see who's going to come out on top. Moziv is still holding on into the outside line. The answer is yes. Moziv will have the nose. And more battles currently so far with Emerson Kurt now losing to Harapaf. Harapaf's now up to 2nd.
Impressive feat, that's for sure. While we were kind of focused on there, Harapaf must have managed to sneak in on Kurt, just kind of destroying their little 2nd place. Hold on. Since when did the time get to like 10.9, almost 11 seconds? Wait,
well, we want to mention that some of the drivers have made mistakes on all that stuff, and maybe also the side-by-side battles also distract them from catching up into the race leader. And right now, if we're looking at the standings here at the moment, we've already passed 1/3 of a race distance so far. We're basically gone through 67 kilometers of this race. Well, another 133 to go from what we can tell. And as of right now, the closest battle we can think so far is between these 3 right now, battling for 2nd.
Yeah, it's just a battle for who gets silver trophy in 2nd right now between Cashew, Kurt, and Harapaf. I think Cashew is trying to pound Kurt down on the straight, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
And we also, we wanted to mention to you guys as well, first of all, we are seeing K. Garcia, Brendan McCauley, and Lance Oryx peeling into the pits for their scheduled stop. They might go into a 2-stop strategy too as well. These 3 will be committing to a 2nd 2-stop strategy. And you can see Mama Cashew again goes off wide at Calamity Corner and now bunches up Hana Ryuki and Vieira da Silva.
I smell opportunity going on right now as Cashew just went off ride, which is a potentially fatal mistake, but it seems He might have recovered, and I think there's a little bit of contact.
Yeah, there's a little bit of
Yuki.
contact from some roughhousing from her Miyuki. She did say she would like to be very aggressive on the racetrack, and this is what she is doing so far. Definitely giving a bit of a bumper to Muhammad Cashew on this occasion. So meanwhile, what you can see here, yes, there is some contact between Yuki and Kashi. Both of them have had some form of damage so far, but this is we want to wait in on some of the aggression. If you want to be aggressive, then make your moves count, because if you don't make your moves count, then you're just going to be wasting your tires and some of your body work and car parts. But if you want to stay safe, then maybe that's the way to go, because if you are in it to win it, and if you're playing it safe, then a win might just be around your corner.
Okay. I got a counterpoint though. Being aggressive is really fun to just watch in general, because it's like a constant, like, what are they planning at this current moment, TM. So it's always fun to watch an aggressive.
So yeah, good point there, Z. Good point there, Z. But also we wanted to mention the Herapath have already pitted, and these will be the first pit stop where a one-stop strategy can be done, because we're looking at Herapath as fuel, and she's good for basically some off-track excursions there for Monica Shalage. He went back to Herapath. Herapath is going to commit to a one-stop strategy. So basically, this is her only pit stop of the day so far, and let's see if she can hold on to this stint for as long as she can. As you can see here, Monica Shalage down the inside. A fellow Holo ID mate, Maurice Trombley, is now up to 6.
It seems there's just battles kind of going everywhere, and it seems Mazik is finally somewhat getting former glory back. Currently in 13th, was originally somewhere around 18th. But I don't know if it's going to turn out necessarily alright. But looking at all the stops right now, it's a lot of zero stop. I think a lot of people are currently relying on one stop, which I find odd. But it'll work out. It usually does.
And we do want to mention that there will be 4 drivers that, from what we can tell, will commit to a 2-stop strategy. The rest will be committing to a 1-stop. As you can see here, race leader Mary Morrison and Takanashi Kara Lexus are currently pitting in this race. Emerson Kurt inherits the race lead in his home race in the Iron 15 Nissan.
At least until Kurt has to pit. But come on, we're gonna celebrate anyway for this potentially temporary victory. Continue.
Oh yeah, we did mention that Adak-RMS have also pitted as well. Them camera angles are not in our favor at the moment. So yeah, Adak-RMS inside the pits right now. Adak-RMS will also commit to a one-stop strategy. He is fueled to the brim until the end. Let's see what he can do with this one stint that he has.
It's gonna have to be an incredible bullets in order to make a one-stop work. It usually does, but on this map it's way more important, because tire wear is going to destroy you if you don't blitz right away. So.
Oh, Lance Orris as well, also going off wide there from Calamity Corner. Calamity Corner hits once again for Lance Orris, and now Brendan McConnell is going to be into the mix. He is now kind of alongside the Indonesian registered driver Lance Orix. Lance Orix is going to be under pressure from Brendan McCauley, but Brendan McCauley thinks of a move, but he's too far back. So McCauley is stuck in 17th. Lance Orix is going to be thankful that he's currently still in 16th after that excursion.
Yeah, sometimes you can get away with your little mishaps on Calamity Corner. That's what happened to Cashew. That's how Cashew is still in second. Oh wait, what's happening?
Yes, we also wanted to mention that as well. As you see, it's a speed trap set 262 kilometers per hour. While the fastest is 273 from the Nissans. So we do want here again. We wanted to mention to you the Lexus's disadvantage on the straights. 10 kilometers an hour down on the Nissan on the longest part of the straight so far. At the end of the straights, 10 kilometers an hour down. So this could mean a difference in, let's say, Baelz, but we have the corners to basically compensate for it.
It's a little bit on the even side with a slight advantage towards the Lexus, which I think we can kind of see. Actually, wait, hold on. What happened to the Lexus podium? Oh, wait, they all pitted, actually.
Yes, we do want to mention to you that Lexus have already pitted. Lance Oryx, Herapath and Mary Moore have already pitted as well. Mary Moore is catching out to Maurice Trombley. Maurice Trombley have yet to pit. Herapath have already overtaken Jason Fisher, who have yet to pit as well. But Aziz Mozif is going to be looking to overtake the Ollie car. Meanwhile, Kate Garcia have overtaken Mercer Liddell for position.
Yeah, it's just a lot of... Everything's kind of happening around the midfield, I'm going to be honest. All the Calamity corner slip-ups and all the battles kind of happening around midfield. Looking at time at the moment, I don't think there's going to be another battle real soon. So,
Oh yeah, we do want to mention to you that Cashew is around 7 to 8 tenths faster than Emerson Crow on that last lap. So we're really making use of that clean air at the moment. Mama Cashew gaining on Emerson Kerr. The gap is now 3.6 seconds. Watch that lead as it shrinks. And Kate Garcia carves herself through the field. Is now up to 13th place.
Olivares still not having a very good time. Just got passed by Garcia, but maybe he'll make the most out of this. I mean, he's in 14th. He's not in last anymore, so maybe he'll turn it around.
And right now, Jason Fisher has been overtaken by Aziz Mozif. Aziz Mozif now up to 11th place. Now trying to catch Herapath and Assetto Corsa Lexus. Let's see what he can do from his position at the moment. He will have to pit again, but Herapath doesn't have to pit again. So both of these drivers are on completely different strategies, and who knows, basically the two-star strategy might be the key strategy that we might have at the moment. But as it stands right now, in terms of battles, The Rock and Assam, there's basically on a stalemate between each other. Yeah, there's basically a stalemate between the two. Let's see what goes on from here.
Its stalemate is slowly starting to break a little bit as Asm creeps up behind the Rob. You noticing it's kind of back and forth, but I think Asm has a slight edge. Rapidly approaching. I think there's an actual battle going on. Nah. I lied.
Okay, meanwhile, the Rob had pitted from his position at the moment. He was 8th and is now serving his first and only stop at the moment. There could be battles at left, right, and center. As you can see here, Shalage is still holding on to 5th place, losing out to a few other drivers here right now. More of the overtakes being done, and also Santi Olivares gives up his points position. He now pits.
This is one stop, I believe, right? One stop or two stop?
Yeah, if from this point on, you can basically commit to a one-stop strategy with the fuel that you have at the moment. So basically, the guys like Olivares and Mazzi, they will be committing to a one-stop strategy, but the guys who have pitted earlier, they will be committing to a two-stop strategy.
It's the usual.
As you can see here, Shalagi really getting close there to Vieira de Silva. Both of them, I don't think, have pitted so far. So it will be interesting to see where they'll end up. As you can see in the race field monitor, Jason Fisher is currently next to pit, actually, as he might want to go for a final stint on the second half of this race.
Potentially for one stop. I've mentioned this. It's blitz or nothing for this track especially, and that's super hard to do with the corners, especially if you're in the sand. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
And right now we're looking at Marion Moore's there, trying to go around the outside. Maurice Trombley holding on into the inside. In the outside still Marion Morris. Marion Morris makes the overtake around the outside of Maurice Trombley. Very good stuff there from the American representing Takanashi Chiara. Very good stuff there, making a move around the outside.
Which is impressive itself, but seeing as it was from the outside, inside generally has advantage. That's basically the rule of HoloGT3 and just racing in general, so kudos to Marion Morris.
And looking into some of the other drivers who have yet to pit, Monica Shalage and Hanari Miyuki, 2 cars representing Holo Hero members. Kyla Kowalskia and Kobo Kanaero, they are going to be called in to pit this lap, basically dead set and halfway into this race. And meanwhile, looking at Aziz Mazin right now, he have already pitted to his first stop, but he's looking to pit for a second time right now. It's his scheduled stop. So at the end of the race, he will be faster overall. So watch out for Aziz Mazin as he may want to surprise guys.
I think waiting a little bit might have been the better opportunity, but I can see where this is going probably. It's just I'm scared of like being placed in just like this awful position right now because I'm looking at lower end times right now and it's up to like 30 seconds, so it's gonna be hard to recover.
And meanwhile, Harapaf trying to go attack around Jeremy Acid on the outside of Calamity Corner, turn 2. Will she make a mistake? She will not make a mistake. She keeps her cool. She keeps her composure. Gets the exit of turn 2 very well. They're heading into the left-hander of turn 3. They're still side by side. And next to the corner is the hairpin. And if she can have the inside line of turn 4, she might just be able to be on the offense, but Azam has the outside, but gets pushed off wide just a bit. Harapap making her tires worth the cost at the moment in the mid stages of this race. Harapap still fighting Jeremy Azam for 6th place. She will give everything to Sarah Svanna, from what I can tell. So Harapap, very good racing from her, very good fight for position from her. She's now up to 6.
Powered by Sapling Tears, TM. But more importantly, however, Harapaf has made it up to 6, and I don't think her assault is gonna stop just here. Cashew finally pulled into the pits. It's been forever. But that means De Silva at her original position in 2nd, currently at a 133. Morris also at a 133. But it's gonna be finally Cashew pitted.
And speaking, I wanted to also add in on the details at the moment. You can see here, the undercut strategy is the preferred strategy at the moment. You basically pit early, you gain time while you have fresher tires compared to those who have not pitted and have worse tires, and when they do pit, you will be ahead. Mary Morris have done the undercut strategy over basically Mohamed Cashew, but then again, in his defense, he was already in the race lead. But now the gap have definitely opened up between himself and basically Cashew. So the undercut strategy is the strategy to go, as we're basically Phillip Island is basically a tire degradation track. So you need to take care of your tires or go full out on the attack. Oh,
I believe,
and Aziz Mwazif.
Oh wait,
Aziz Mwazif have also made a mistake. That's him making a mistake in Calamity Corner.
Yet another spin off. Oh no, Calamity Corner claims yet another soul.
And Aziz Mwazif, we thought that it would go so well for him, but unfortunately, that's basically the racing gods not providing much help to Mwazif right now. Let's see if Mwazif can get himself back into the track. As Emerson Kurt now finally pits, Aziz Mwazif finally gets back out on track. He hasn't reached the car that Raymond Pablo had done, but the amount of bad luck that Mwazif have had is so unreal. He got tagged out, he got crashed out at Mosport in round 1, and in round 2 in Road America, he basically crashed in the start. And for rounds 3, 4, and 5, haven't done much surprises so far. But I think he did show some kind of performance in Spa. But other than that, he's had some either mediocre runs or bad runs. So here's another bad run that Mwazif have had. So obviously not a good look for Mwazif. He has to rue his bad luck today.
It's like a punching bag. It's oh my god, it happens like every other race to the point where it's overdone at this point. Oh my god.
Absolute heartbreak for Aziz Moazev to basically spin out from his position. He was running 10th and is now down to 18th. But so far, he is only 8 seconds behind Olivares, so his race is not over just yet. But as for lap cars, what are your thoughts about lap cars in this race?
I look at the times and I think lap cars might play a part. It's gonna be really late into the race, so they won't matter as much as they should.
So right now we're looking at Aziz Moazev. He's already 1 minute and 17 seconds behind the leader. The lap time here is at around a 1:31. So Moazev is currently at risk of being lapped by around maybe the next 10-20 laps. Around 10-15 laps if he doesn't pick up the pace. But other than that, Olivares is the next driver currently on the outside looking in. Speaking on the outside looking in, Aziz Moazev is going to pit for a second time, which basically guarantees him being lapped at this point.
This time I reverse jinxed it. You see, I switched it up this time. But it seems lap cars are going to play a part in this, I guess, then. Well, this will be interesting.
And currently, Jeremy Assam have finished his pit stop. It will be his one and only stop as he hits halfway into this race. He will have fresher tires than everyone else at this as it stands at the moment. And currently, we're looking at Aziz Moazev. He's actually catching up slightly to Olivares, but then he then realized he has to pit. So that's him peeling to the pit. That's for his second scheduled stop. And speaking of second scheduled stop, there'll also be guys who also might want to do some might want to do the pit stop. Lance Oryx, Maurice Tremblay, Brandon McConley, Mercer Ledoux, and Carolina Da Silva, they will be pitting once again. So watch out for them.
Oh, my bad. But Morris overall net positive lead and just everything in general, so it should be smooth sailing as soon as the Silva pit. It's just the waiting game, and even then Morris could probably overtake her in a couple laps, if I'm not mistaken. It's waiting game now.
And currently Hanori Miyuki losing touch to 7th and 8th Mama Cashew and Emerson Kerr. Meanwhile, Monica Shilage is slowly catching up into Monica Shilage. Look at Shilage's run exiting turn 12. She has the run into Hanori Miyuki to OK Buddy Hololive VTubers. Basically, independent organization of virtual YouTubers from OK Buddy Hololive. Battling out for position. Shilage catching up to Hanori Miyuki, but they're basically still having a distance. So right now, Shilage goes hard into Calamity Corner once again and gets back out on track, tries to make a move into Miyuki, but it just wasn't meant to be for Shilage.
Is it that like the third time Shilage's gone off track? It's a particularly risky strategy, so I have to respect it, but I swear that's like the third time that's happened.
Yeah, third time it's happened. Third time unlucky for Shilage. Loses around 3, 4, 5 seconds in the process. And speaking of the gap so far, the gap we need to pay attention might be Emerson Kurt and Mama Cashew, but Kurt is losing slight touches to Cashew at the moment, and now we have confirmation that Da Silva will be on her second stop.
And the waiting game is done, and now Marion Morris will take his spot in first. Yep, who would have thought? But now it's basically smooth sailing for Morris at the moment, as hopefully doesn't unfortunately crash on Calamity Corner. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink indeed. And right now, Marion Morris holding on into the race lead at the moment. Maurice Tremblay have also yet to pit. Harapath have already pitted so far, and is one of the drivers who are currently in a one-stop strategy. So as it stands, Marion Morris and Harapath are currently sitting at net 1-2 at the moment. As you can see, Hike Garcia and Lance Oryx battling for position. You can see here Oryx gaining on Garcia. The Anya Melfisak are gaining on to the Vesta Zeta Nissan.
Gaining, but not much going on at the moment. Hold on, did Cashew like spin out or like no? I think he span out. I swear he dropped like 2 positions. He span out for a little bit. All right, he's fine now, but.
And speaking of which, Mercer Ledoux also pitting for a second time. I think that is his scheduled stop. So he will also be the other driver who will be getting lapped here at the moment. Aziz Moazev trying to catch up to Maurice Tromboli, who have yet to pit. As you can see, Mozif have already pitted, so he's already way faster than the cars in front of him. So let's see how much he gains and how much he can try to eke out a gap right now. He has the fresher tires, and right now, let's see what Mozif can do exiting turn 12.
Wait, hold on. How did Mazif get back on the track? Didn't he like spin out like horribly?
Yeah, he did spin out horribly, but he didn't beach the car. This is the important part. You beach the car, you're basically stuck in the gravel, but he didn't beach his car, so he wasn't stuck in the gravel. He managed to get his car back out on track. He pitted for a second time, so new fresh tires. Let's see what he can do to get himself unlapped from Maurice Tromboli.
I'm gonna be honest. This is like just humiliating. Like they didn't even want to just like outright destroy your car. They wanted to give you the illusion you have a fighting chance. But the lapping is just too great.
But right now, as is Mozif, between him and Mariam Bond is actually not that far, kind of. Meanwhile, there's a battle between Harapap and Maurice Tromboli. Maurice Tromboli on older tires, Harapap on newer tires. Harapap has the comfortable edge over basically Maurice Tromboli. Maurice Tromboli will have to settle for third place at the moment, and as you can see here on this shot here, Harapap holding very steadily in second place, trying to catch up into what looks to be the lap car of Aziz Mozif. Aziz Mozif is going to be trying his best to get himself back into the lead lap.
I smell Saboteur time, so I think Mozif is just gonna devote the rest of like his racing to just like screwing around with whoever is in like first, second, third place. It's gonna be a lot like last race, I think, where it's just Saboteur and it's all fun.
And right now, Maurice Tromboli peeling into the pits for his second stop. So he will have 15 laps of fresh tires. He will be on the super attack against drivers who are vulnerable on those worn out tires. Meanwhile, we're taking a look into Monica Shalagi trying to catch up into Muhammad Cashew. Look at Shalagi already closing the gap back up. She's catching up. She is definitely on the comeback here. She's now back inside the top 10.
Shalage's tail this race has certainly been something, to say the least. The fact she's like kind of spun out a little bit and then regained composure and still maintain somewhere within the top 10 is astounding, and I have nothing but respect.
Currently Shalagi really going on the offense against Muhammad Cashew. They're trying to go around the outside, but right now it's not looking well for Shalagi. Meanwhile, we're looking at some of the battles here right now. Tromboli has just exited ahead of the pack. Mazzy, Asim, and Fisher fighting for the silver spoon of points paying positions right now. Mazzy trying to go around the outside, which will be the inside line. You're heading into turn 4, and this will open the door for Jason Fisher making a move around the inside of Jeremy Asim. The Ollie car attacking the Ina car. Zombie versus Tentacle Priest, or whatever you want to call it. Fisher now up to 13th in car number 13.
Hold on. This was in 14th. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. I'm zoning out for a little bit. Alright, well, anyway, that battle was for the most part over with, and it seems, I think there's going to be another one coming up real soon between Fisher and Mozzie, if I'm not mistaken. I bet that's the next thing that's going to happen on, so I'm going to keep a close eye on that. But, stuff always happens.
And we also wanted to mention to you that Lance Oryx in the Anya Melfissa Lexus has to pit again. The two-top strategy for Oryx have not been completed so far for Oryx. So right now Oryx has one more stop that he needs to do. Meanwhile, for Kate Garcia, and also Kate Garcia will have to pit one more time, which would mean it will be a Lexus 1, 2, 3, a podium lockout for Team Lexus. We haven't seen that since, I think, Low Sport, where we are only seeing Lexus cars on the podium. As you can see here, Varia da Silva have already pitted.
I wouldn't, it's not technically a lockout actually, but something unfortunate could happen, definitely, but yeah, it's basically gonna be a Lexus podium, I believe, guaranteed.
And looking at some of the other battles that we might need to pay attention to, unless Emerson Kurt has something for Carolina de Vieira da Silva. As you can see here, Emerson Kurt have also pitted for the one. I think Emerson Kurt, yeah, he has already pitted for the one and only time. So Emerson Kurt is in the same strategy as them. So da Silva is going to be on the offense against Vieira da Silva, as da Silva is going to try to find a way past Kate Garcia for fourth place. So unless either one or two of them basically get themselves off from Calamity Corner, Emerson Kurt might have a chance.
Well, you're gonna jinx it. I'm so sorry, but that's probably what's gonna happen now. Our bad.
Meanwhile, we're going to be taking a look back into the...
Alright,
Yep, excuse me. Okay, so we're going to be taking a look back into the battle here at the moment on board Emerson Kurt's Nissan. We are in the Euro 15 Nissan, and obviously trying to find a way past Da Silva and Garcia. Let's see how this battle unfolds.
It's gonna flip at least a somewhat. Oh, hold on. Aston and Fisher are fighting. Or at least one of them dropped down positions, but it seems Fisher lost the position to Azim. Who would have thought that? My prediction was right, somewhat.
Yeah, but your prediction is right somewhat. So we're going to take a look back into positions, the battles here so far on board Da Silva's Oro Corny Lexus. Let's see if Da Silva have the shot on this final corner against Garcia. Let's see how much time she can gain on this left-hander. 4/10 of a second, 3/10 of a second. Vieira da Silva is currently on the attack.
It's 2.226. I'm sorry, I'm not getting my numbers right, but I think Da Silva has a slight edge in just overall lap time against Garcia at the moment, and definitely has an advantage over her because, or him, my bad. But I'm sorry, I don't know pronouns, but definitely a slight edge, I think, against Garcia. Especially because Lexus corners, etc., but it's stalemating for now.
And currently looking at the gap right now, basically there's also 2 lap cars currently in the field right now. Lado and Wazit are currently lapped by Marion Morris, and the first car out of the points is Sandy Olivares, championship leader. And currently he's behind the Rock, who is looking to earn 1 solitary point in Bae's home race.
Which is somewhat disappointing to me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, but I mean, you still scored inside the points. It's technically a win, it's just not a very substantial one like we were hoping for.
Okay, so looking into the field at the moment, Olivares and Assam trying to go for more positions, first and foremost. So looking into the field model, Garcia and Macaulay will be the next drivers to pit. They will be conceding their positions. You can see here Garcia already been linked in the pits for her second scheduled stop.
So Garcia in the pits, which makes Da Silva, her little battle, or at least attempted battle, kind of somewhat pointless. Da Silva now in 4. Did Oryx just pass here? What? Sorry, I'm getting off topic.
Okay, so back on to the race here at the moment. Herapat doing very well to stay inside the top 2 spots here right now. As you can see, Lance Oryx have also caught up into the lap, or what should be the lap car of Aziz Moazif. And Aziz Moazif might want to try to be as fast as he can while also trying to stay well, he is currently lapped. He doesn't want to be lapped by even more cars, so that would be even more embarrassing. So Moaz is going to try his best to stay on the lead lap against some of the other cars. He's already a lap down from Marion Morris. He's not a lap down from Oryx and Pap, so Moaz might have something for him.
Moaz should just play like gatekeeper, in my opinion, and just like kind of mess around with second place, and it would cause a whole bunch of just collision and everything. But that's just me. But no, your idea is also good. I think you should also just, you know, not get lapped.
Not get lapped even further? Correct. As you can see, Emerson Kurt is currently holding on to 5th place right now, trying to catch up to the Silva right now, only 6 to 7 tenths behind the Silva as Oryx picks. We have now confirmed a Lexus podium sweep at the moment. Marion Morris leading in the Takanashi Kiara Lexus, Carapaf in second in this Arizona Lexus, Vieira de Silva in the number 96 Oroconi Lexus. So it will be a Lexus podium sweep as it stands right now, unless somebody makes a mistake heading into the Calamity Corner, which is turn 2.
I think Kurt. Actually, hold on. Does Kurt have to pit? I'm losing track.
And right now, as it stands right now, Emerson Kurt does not have to pit. He's currently okay until the end of this race. Meanwhile, some guys who are currently on the attack, Olivares and The Rock. There could be more battles here right now.